Listening to these Republicans talk about jobs and health care and immigration, and they seem totally divorced from reality, almost like they're living on a different planet, almost like they're from another dimension.
You're traveling to another dimension, a dimension where facts have no meaning and rhetoric has no connection to the truth. A journey into a strange land where politicians' claims are not bound by the laws of reality. Your next stop, the Republican Zone.
That's right, they're in the Republican Zone. And trust me, it's a weird place to be. It's a place where a top GOP congressman can say the president is holding back progress on immigration.
If more executive actions are taken, that would make it difficult for us to always work together. Why do executive orders when you have legislative process, which America expects to see?
A legislative process? Is he joking? It's now been 498 days since the Senate passed immigration reform, and the House GOP has blocked the vote the whole time. But in the Republican zone, it doesn't matter. You can say anything you want. You can even pretend the president is holding up the economy.
He needs to put politics aside and rebuild trust. Now, this is the best way to deliver solutions to get the economy going again.
Get the economy going? What planet is he on? It is going. Today we learned the private sector has added jobs for 56 straight months, the longest streak on record. And the stock market has gone up like gangbusters, rising 121% since the president took office. Only in the GOP's bizarro world do these claims even make sense. Folks, we gotta get out of the Republican zone. Because back here on planet Earth, the GOP is in desperate need of a reality check. Joining me now in the Republican zone is Jason Johnson. Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here, Rev.
Jason, just how far from the planet reality, let me put it that way, just how far some of these Republicans when it comes to things like jobs and immigration?
Oh, they're very far off in the Republican zone now after Tuesday. They think that even though they elected 2 African Americans to Congress who voted against things that matter to African American voters, that they're somehow making progress in diversity. They seem to think that they're finally going to stop Barack Obama from the terrible things he's done to the job market, but unemployment is at its lowest rate in 7 years. The Republicans are stuck in a rhetorical nightmare of nonsense that hopefully they'll figure out in the next 2 years, because they clearly haven't figured it out yet.
You know, the head of the RNC talked about immigration reform in 2012. He said the GOP, quote, must embrace and champion comprehensive immigration reform. But this morning he said, quote, I don't believe most people are interested in comprehensive immigration reform unless they are convinced that the border is secure. Is there anywhere these 2 statements make sense besides the Republican zone?
Oh, yes. In the Republican zone, it makes perfect sense because they somehow think that stopping immigration reform is going to help them finally win Latino voters. Look, it makes no sense how many times the Republican Party has contradicted itself because they always want to be on the opposite side of whatever President Obama says. There's been more than enough opportunity to do comprehensive immigration reform, and Republicans have stymied it every single time, but somehow it's President Obama's fault.
I'll give you another one. Today, Speaker Boehner responded to the new jobs report, saying, quote, wages remain stubbornly flat. But the Speaker refuses to take action on something that would actually address that, raising the minimum wage. Listen.
When it comes to the federal minimum wage, listen, I used to be an employer. When you raise the cost of something, you get less of it.
I mean, is there any chance Republicans will change their tune on the minimum wage?
Not likely, and it's amazing because you just had 4 red states vote to raise the minimum wage, and then seeing senators and congressmen to Congress who say, we're going to stop you from raising minimum wage. So I don't understand, and I don't think anyone outside of someone in the Republican zone can understand how they could be not just at odds with basic economics, but at odds with their own Republican constituents when it comes to something as simple as minimum wage.
And the fact is that every time minimum wage has been on the ballot, including red states this week, it has passed, even in red states. Check this out. We've seen 56 straight months of private sector job growth under President Obama, 56 straight months, and 55 votes targeting the Affordable Care Act under Speaker Boehner. That's the Republican zone.
Oh, yes. Supposedly the Affordable Care Act was going to ruin everything, and yet people still seem to be getting jobs. Somehow the president has had nothing to do with improving the economy one way or another, but unemployment goes down. I'll give you another one. The Republicans say we can't do anything about gas prices until we make the Keystone Pipeline. I saw gas for $2.75 yesterday. I was amazed. So clearly their version of events is not making sense with the actual policies that have been passed.
Well, I'm on Planet Reality, and fantasy will not ever overrun reality. You can have your fantasies for a minute, but reality will set in the long term. Jason Johnson, thank you for your time tonight. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Reverend. You too.